Hello E39 source, Kennan here with the 2001 E39 525, and today we're going to be covering a topic that's kind of perplexed me for a while, and that is retrofitting xenons to a halogen-based car. Now there's not a lot of information out there about this right now. I've done a lot of research and I can't really find any conclusive things. I've found articles on Bimmer forums about retrofitting the leveling sensors to the headlights, but I haven't found any videos of retrofitting OE components to a car that came with halogens originally. So this video is kind of experimental. I don't have the full in-depth understanding of what needs to be done because there's no information about it. So we're going to be kind of walking you through what I found and trying a couple of different things, and if it works, we'll let you know. If it doesn't, well then, we'll let you know what we think needs to be fixed. Okay, so parts required for doing this retrofit. As you can see, I've gone with the OE Hella Eurospec Xenon headlights. These are quite expensive. There are various places you can find them. I don't know the part numbers off the top of my head, but I will put an annotation below. I'll also put an annotation for the US spec headlights if that is what you're interested in. When you buy these, just note they come with a halo bulb, they come with a high beam, and they also come with the xenon low beam bulb all included in the headlight. Or if you're buying Hella units, that's what you get. If you're buying something aftermarket, I don't know what you're going to get. You kind of run at your own risk there, but if you buy the OE unit, this is what comes with it. In addition to the headlights, and depending on where you order them, you're going to need the ballast. Some sites offer the headlights with the ballast, some do not. Again, I will put an annotation there. They also should come with the brackets. In my case, I had some difficulties with the supplier, and one of my headlights did not come with the brackets. Again, I'll put an annotation. It will also be in the description below, and an article I will publish on E39 source. Alright, so tools we're going to use to do this job, we just have a 3/8 ratchet, a 6-inch extension, then we have an 8mm 6-point socket, then we have a T25 Torx bit, another 8mm socket. This is for a different application, and then just sort of an adaptable screwdriver. And that should be all the tools that you need to complete this job. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is disconnect all of the bulbs from your headlight. So you've got your high beam, you just simply twist, it comes right out. You've got your halos here, just again, twist, comes right out. And your high beam over here, twist, comes right out. Alright, now you need to remove your low beam bulb, same kind of deal. Depress the clip here and work it out. It's a little hard if your plastic is as old as this is, but it will come right out if you just press and squeeze, and it will pull out after you work at it. The next step would be to remove the 8mm bolts that hold the headlight in. There are 4 of them, one located here, one located here, one located here, and one located here. If you have a V8 car, some of this might be hard to get to. That's why the 6-inch extension comes in handy. Maybe also a good idea to have a magnet on hand, just in case you drop one. Alright, so the next step is to just wiggle the headlight out of its aperture. Sometimes this is easier said than done if it's been in here for a long time. I actually don't know if these headlights have ever been out of the car before. But just kind of mess around with it and it will come out. And now you finally have access to your turn signal bulb, which is just, I believe, depress and it will come off. Once you've done that, either set your light in a dry safe location or throw it out, or refinish it, whatever you want to do with it. But then we can move on to adapting some of the parts to go on the xenon headlight. Okay, so first thing you need to do before you throw out the headlights is to remove the body color trim that is on the bottom of the headlight. This is pretty easy. All you have to do, I believe, start over here, and you just kind of work it off gently. It will come off. There are just little clips that hold it in, and then one clip here on the end. Thank you, Ryan. It's hard to do this when I'm holding it and he's only got one hand, but there's one clip there just to press it and pull it off. And this is kind of one sign that your headlight adjusters are broken. Kind of sounds like a maraca because they're just little pieces of plastic kind of just rotating around in there. So yeah, this is pretty much toast. Another thing that comes included with the headlights would be the headlight mounting bracket that's attached with these 2 lower Torx bolts, or 8mm bolts, I'm sorry, to the bottom of the headlight. So just go ahead and remove those, and then we'll talk about mounting the new brackets to the car. Okay, so here is the bracket inside the car. There are 2 more 8mm bolts that you need to remove on the front. Just torque them out and then you can remove the bracket from the car. Okay, so now before you go and put these lights on your car, just a thing to note, if you want to change your high beam bulb to something different, now is the time to do that, because once you have the bracket in place, it's going to be very hard to access this, so just take that with a grain of salt. But once you're ready to put the Xenon bracket on, and you have this bolted in, this is where your T5 Torx bit would come in handy if you have to put the Xenon ballast themselves in the brackets. All you have to do is simply loop this piece around this metal acceptor here and then tighten it down. Very, very simple. There are 2 tabs on the back here that hold this long wire. Just go ahead and slide that through. It's just this is just there to kind of tidy it up. Then you can put the bracket on. There are screws. There's one screw that will really help you line it up. It is right there. I'm having a little bit of difficulty. There we go. Once you slide it on, there's a nut that goes on top of that. That is actually going to be an 8mm. There's a screw that goes here, 8mm, and there's another one that goes right there. Again, 8mm. I really like the number 8 with these headlights. Once you have those on though, and tighten down, you can then go ahead and install or connect the Xenon wire to the Xenon bulb. Just press in and twist and you're all set to go, and then we can work on putting them back on the car.
So we've got one of the lights in right now, and installing the lights, if you've seen my video on retrofitting a 2000 M5 with the facelift lights, is really easy actually. With the bracket already on the car, you're just going to slide in this outside edge, and as we noted before, when reinstalling the body colored trim, that has a little piece on it that sticks out, and that piece needs to kind of sandwich behind the rest of the fender here and put the light in at an angle so it gets behind the fender a little bit before we work the inside edge of the light in towards the engine. So we're just going to work that in, minding the Xenon wire here, make sure that doesn't get sandwiched in between the top of the body here below the light and then the piece of front frame here. So work that in. Then as we get down here, since we're doing a retrofit on a car that did not come with Xenons, it does not have the leveling motors, there is the one wiring harness still unprotected there. So we just got some electrical tape, went over it once this way and then over it once that way to keep any moisture or creepy crawlers from getting in the connectors. Then it's just a matter of plugging in all of your lights, noting that your turn signal bulb is most easiest plugged in when the light is already out. So before you push it all the way in there, get that bulb connected, make sure it works. Then your halo bulb, high beam bulb, and then your Xenon or your low beam bulb wire now just plugs into the top of the ballast. The lights are installed and everything but bolted in. Key into position 2. I'm just going to zoom in, see if we can get that to focus. So we have Xenons work, halos work. Kennan, punch the hazards. The halo's out on that one side again, Kennan. It's just some funky wiring we have with those LED bulbs. Hit the brights. And the brights work. So no adapters. Everything seems to be plug and play. And at least without starting the engine, there's no check lights, are they? This is low OBC, so there would be some sort of bulb warnings there, but we're not seeing those yet. Again, that's with engine off yet. We haven't started it yet. So it's going pretty well. So with the lights in and all functions verified working, you can kind of start to just adjust the light fitment. Now I don't go crazy with this, but with the hood shut and latched, you can feel for the gap on this side, look for the gap here. Make sure this seal, there isn't too much of a gap there where you're going to start to get road debris or anything like that in there. In comparison to the same features on this side. See how everything seals, how everything fits. Go ahead and pop it now, Kennan. And we'll look under the hood and we'll see which attributes can be adjusted specifically. Really the 2 screws we're going to be using to adjust it are the 2 screws that hold, or bolts rather, that hold the top of the headlight in, those 8mm hex head bolts, and you can just loosen those up, move it around with your hand. The lower bracket is made of plastic, so it's flexible in the way that you can fine-tune, adjust it. Get it where you want it, tighten it, close the hood. Rinse and repeat until you're happy with it. Same on this side.
Alright guys, so that wraps up the installation of converting your car from a halogen-based car to a xenon car. Now obviously I have mentioned I thought this was going to be a lot harder than it actually was, but on this facelifted 2001 525, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Now, if you're in Europe, as I've mentioned, you probably will have different issues, and if you have a pre-facelift car, you also may have different things to think about. But on this particular car, it was not that big of a deal. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next E39 source video. Bye bye.